The moment Kate Egan dies, everything inside Tommy Egan breaks. The man who once had limits, who once had reasons, is gone. What's left is someone colder, crueler, and more dangerous than ever before. Tommy doesn't just lose his mother, he loses the last piece of his humanity. In that single heartbeat, Chicago's streets stop belonging to the living. They belong to Tommy now, a man with nothing left to love and nothing left to lose. Kate Egan's death isn't just another tragedy in Tommy's violent world. It's the event that tears his soul open. For years, Tommy lived in chaos, surrounded by betrayal, drugs, and death, but deep down, there was always one thing that held him together: his mother. Their relationship was messy, toxic, and filled with arguments. But behind all that pain, there was love, a rare kind that only a mother and son who've survived everything together can share. Kate wasn't perfect. She lied, she manipulated, and she disappointed Tommy more times than he could count, but she was still his blood. She was the only person who ever looked at him and saw a scared boy instead of a ruthless gangster. When she's gone, it's not just her life that ends, it's Tommy's last chance at being human. He doesn't cry. He doesn't speak much. He just stands there in silence, the weight of years of guilt pressing down on him. You can almost feel what's going through his mind, the flashbacks of every fight they ever had, every word he wished he'd taken back. All the times he tried to push her away suddenly crashed down like a wave of regret. It's a pain he can't show, because in Tommy's world, showing pain is a weakness. But the truth is, inside, he's drowning in it. Tommy's story has always been about survival, about fighting through every betrayal and loss. But Kate's death is different. It's personal. It cuts too deep, because it reminds him that no matter how much money he makes or how many enemies he kills, he can't protect the people he loves. That's the one thing power can't buy. And now, that truth haunts him. Every empty room feels like her voice could still echo through it. Every street corner reminds him of the woman who once begged him to leave this life behind. For Tommy, losing Kate isn't about revenge, not at first. It's about facing a loneliness that he's never allowed himself to feel before. He doesn't just lose a mother. He loses the only person who ever truly saw him beyond the blood and the bullets. He's not angry yet, not fully. Right now, he's broken. And in that silence, in that unbearable stillness after her death, you can sense something dark beginning to grow inside him. A storm waiting to explode. He starts to see the world differently. Every friend becomes a threat, every ally a possible snake. He's been hurt before, but this time, it's different. This time, the pain doesn't fade. It festers. It turns into something sharper. Grief turns into rage, and soon, everyone around him will feel it. Because Tommy doesn't know how to heal. He only knows how to strike back. In Power Book 4 for Season 3, this moment, Kate's death, is the spark that sets off everything else. It's not just another plot twist. It's the point where Tommy stops trying to control his dark side and finally lets it consume him. What comes next isn't about survival. It's about destruction, and the scariest part is, he doesn't care who gets caught in the fire. Something inside Tommy Egan dies with Kate. What rises in her place is not the same man Chicago knew. The careful, strategic Tommy, the one who played chess with his enemies, is gone. What's left is a man who feels no fear, no guilt, and no need for restraint. His pain becomes fuel, and every ounce of love he ever felt for his mother turns into pure, explosive anger. The streets can feel it before they even see it. Whispers spread like wildfire. Tommy's lost it, and they're right. He's lost everything that made him human. The days after Kate's death are quiet, too quiet. Tommy doesn't show emotion. He doesn't talk about her. But that silence is dangerous. It's the kind of silence that hides a storm. You can see it in the way he stares out the window, the cigarette burning down between his fingers, his mind replaying the moment he found her lifeless. The guilt eats. him alive, but he can't cry because crying doesn't fit the man he's become. So instead, he does what he's always done best. He goes to war. But this time, it's not about territory or money. It's about punishment. It's about making the whole city feel the same pain that's tearing him apart inside. Tommy starts moving differently. He's reckless, unpredictable, a man who doesn't care whether he lives or dies. The code he used to live by, loyalty, business before emotion, it's gone. Now, every move is personal. Every deal is soaked in vengeance. He doesn't care if it's smart, he just wants blood. The streets begin to tremble because when Tommy's not thinking, he's unstoppable. Every rival, every snitch, every person who even looks at him the wrong way becomes a target. His hands are steady, but his soul is gone. It's as if he's on autopilot, running on grief and rage. He starts burning bridges without looking back. Old allies try to calm him down, but Tommy doesn't want peace anymore. He wants chaos. He wants people to feel unsafe, to know that if you cross him, there's no hiding, no second chances. His anger becomes his identity. The same man who once dreamed of building an empire now looks like a ghost haunting the city he built. Every corner, every deal, every gunshot carries his name. People whisper that Tommy's lost control, but the truth is darker. This is his control now. Violence is the only language he speaks, and fear is the only thing he trusts. There's a scene where he stands alone in an empty room, looking at a picture of him and Kate. His face doesn't move, but you can feel what's boiling inside him. The picture falls to the floor, and that's it, the last bit of calm shatters. He steps outside and the world around him changes tone. The lights feel colder, the city louder, every sound is sharper, every heartbeat faster. Tommy Egan has crossed a line, and there's no coming back. He's not chasing money, power, or revenge anymore. He's chasing something far more dangerous, relief. The kind that only comes when everything else burns. And that's the scariest part. Because grief didn't break Tommy, it freed him. For years, he held himself back, tried to play the game, tried to stay loyal to people who didn't deserve it. But now, with no one left to love, he doesn't need a reason to fight. He doesn't care about consequences. He doesn't care about death. He's finally at peace with the chaos inside him, and that peace is terrifying. The city becomes his reflection, violent, cold, unpredictable. Every action he takes sends a message. Tommy Egan isn't grieving, he's evolving. The death of Kate didn't destroy him, it stripped him of everything that made him hesitate. Now, he's the purest version of himself, a man built entirely from anger and loss. In every bullet fired, every deal broken, and every life taken, you can see the shadow of Kate, the ghost that drives him deeper into madness. He's not just fighting enemies anymore. He's fighting the silence she left behind. And as the season unfolds, you realize something haunting Tommy's not becoming a monster because of his mother's death. He always had that monster inside him. Her love just kept it quiet. Now that she's gone, that beast is awake, and Chicago has no idea what's coming. When Tommy Egan starts moving again, Chicago starts to shake. It's not just another turf war. It's a storm with no direction, destroying everything in its path. People don't talk about who runs the city anymore. They talk about surviving it. The news of Kate's death travels fast, but the aftermath moves even faster. Every crew, every corner boy, every dealer who ever whispered Tommy's name now does it with fear in their voice. Because this time, it's not about business or loyalty. It's about blood. And blood is something Tommy never runs out of. At first, everyone thinks it's temporary. They think Tommy's just acting out of grief, that eventually he'll calm down and go back to playing the game. But this isn't a tantrum, it's transformation. He doesn't care about rules anymore. He doesn't care about alliances, profits, or peace. His pain has made him fearless, and that makes him untouchable. When a man has nothing left to lose, he becomes something much more dangerous. He becomes unpredictable. You can't reason with a man like that. You can't threaten him. You can only hope he doesn't notice you. The crews that once worked under Tommy start falling apart. Some try to run, others try to hide, but hiding doesn't work in Tommy's world. He knows every alley, every warehouse, every secret corner of this city. The same streets that built him now belong to his wrath. When he walks through a room, silence follows. His name becomes a warning, a promise that mercy no longer exists. Even his allies begin to watch their backs. They've seen what he does to those who cross him, and now they fear that loyalty won't be enough to save them. It's in these moments that Tommy starts to become something bigger than a man. He turns into a myth, a shadow that moves through Chicago's underworld like a ghost with a grudge. Every gunshot echoes his name. Every dead rival becomes another story told in whispers. And yet, deep inside all that destruction, there's a strange kind of order. Tommy's chaos has rhythm. He doesn't kill for fun. He kills to send messages, to remind people that the rules they used to play by don't exist anymore. This is his city now, raw, ruthless, and built on pain. But power always comes with a price. The more Tommy takes control, the more isolated he becomes. People stop calling him a leader and start calling him a curse. The city he wanted to rule begins to rot under his touch. Deals collapse because no one trusts him. Partners disappear. Friends turn enemies. Every victory he earns leaves him emptier than before. You can almost see it in his eyes, that quiet understanding that he's becoming the very thing he once fought against. But by now, it's too late to turn back. The monster's already out, and Tommy doesn't know how to put it back inside Dot, and then there's the other side, the law. The cops, the feds, the gangs from other cities, they all see the same thing. Tommy Egan is no longer a businessman with a temper. He's a war waiting to happen. Every move he makes draws attention. Every act of violence leaves a trail. But he doesn't hide. He walks through it like he's daring the world to come for him. The risk doesn't scare him anymore. He's beyond that. What can you threaten a man with when he's already lost everything? Yet behind all the fire and fury, something deeper begins to show. You can tell that Tommy's not just fighting enemies, he's fighting himself. Every violent outburst is a cry he'll never admit. Every dead body is another way of burying his guilt. He's not trying to build an empire anymore. He's trying to bury the memory of Kate. But memories don't stay buried. They follow him, haunt him, twist inside his mind until the only thing that feels real is the chaos he creates. The city becomes his mirror, a cracked, broken, bleeding. And he keeps staring at it because destruction is the only thing that makes sense anymore. By now, Chicago has stopped trying to fight him. The gangs surrender out of fear. The police stay quiet because they know arresting Tommy doesn't stop him. It only delays the inevitable. He's not a criminal anymore. He's a force. Every action he takes rewrites the streets. He doesn't care who watches, who talks, or who dies. And that's what makes him unstoppable. But here's the truth. Even Tommy Egan can't outrun the weight of his own legend. Fear can control a city, but it can't fill the hole inside a man's chest. Every person he pushes away, every soul he silences, brings him closer to the same emptiness he's been running from. The power he thought would heal him only makes the wound deeper. The fire he started now burns him to dot, and as the smoke rises over Chicago, one thing becomes clear. Tommy's war isn't with the streets, it's with himself. And the scariest part is, he's starting to enjoy it. Every storm eventually runs out of rain, but Tommy Egan's storm doesn't fade. It mutates. Chicago lies under his rule now, silent and scared, but the silence feels wrong. It's not peace. It's tension, stretched so tight that the smallest spark could make the whole city explode again. Tommy stands in the middle of it all, watching everything he's built turn cold and hollow. The empire he wanted, the control he fought for, it's all there, but it doesn't mean anything. Power without purpose feels like poison, and Tommy's been drinking it every day since Kate died. He thought revenge would fix the ache. He thought chaos would make the pain disappear. But the truth hits him harder than any bullet ever could, no matter how many people fall. He still feels empty. Kate's voice echoes in the back of his mind, soft and haunting, reminding him that this isn't strength. It's grief wearing a mask. For the first time, Tommy starts to question himself, but it's too late. The damage is already done. The blood on his hands has become permanent, and the streets he wanted to control now control him. The men around him begin to change. They don't see a leader anymore. They see a ghost in a man's body. His crew fears him, but fear doesn't last forever. It mutates into resentment, then rebellion. Whispers start spreading. Tommy's slipping. People who once stood behind him begin to vanish, one by one, not because they've been taken out, but because they've lost faith. Loyalty was Tommy's weapon, but now it's gone dull. Even the people closest to him realize that he's not fighting for the business anymore. He's fighting ghosts, and ghosts can't be killed. But Tommy doesn't slow down. He doubles down. Every betrayal fuels him. Every doubt sharpens his rage. He convinces himself that the world's still against him, that everyone wants to take what's his. In truth, there's nothing left to take. He's already burned everything that mattered. The same streets that once echoed his name now whisper it in fear and pity. Chicago doesn't belong to him anymore. It's feeding on him, turning him into a symbol of everything he once tried to escape. And yet, there's something tragic about the way he keeps going. There's a strange beauty in his destruction, like a man trying to outfight fate itself. You can see it in the way he moves, the way he speaks, the way he refuses to stop. Deep down, Tommy knows he's spiraling, but he doesn't care. He can't stop because stopping means facing the truth, that his mother's death didn't just break him, it revealed him. It peeled away the mask and showed the world what he really is when there's nothing left to protect pure, unfiltered rage. The city begins to mirror him completely. Alliances crumble. The drug trade collapses. Every gang war, every deal gone bad, every act of violence feels like a reflection of his inner chaos. The cops can't contain it, and the people can't escape it. Tommy Egan becomes more than a man. He becomes a warning. His name turns into a legend told in bars and alleys about the man who built an empire from ashes and then burned it all just to feel something again. But here's where the story twists. Because even as Tommy falls deeper into darkness, there's a part of him that refuses to die. That same stubborn fire that's always kept him alive starts whispering again, the voice that says maybe, just maybe, this isn't the end. Maybe the destruction is the beginning of something else. Maybe this isn't his downfall, but his rebirth. You can almost see it in the way he stands, bruised, blooded, but still breathing. The fire in his eyes isn't gone. It's just colder now, controlled, deadlier. The wild rage that consumed him after Kate's death starts to settle into something sharper, a purpose. He's no longer killing for grief. He's killing for clarity. The storm is finally learning how to aim. And that's far more dangerous than chaos ever was done in this version of Tommy. There's no emotion left. No guilt. No hesitation. Just precision. He's learned that caring makes you weak. And now he's done caring. The man who once fought to protect his family now fights only for dominance. The people who thought he was breaking soon realize the truth. He's evolving. Every loss, every betrayal, every ghost has built him into something no one can stop. Not the police, not the gangs, not even his own past. As the season closes, the camera might linger on him, standing in the rain. The city lights flickering across his face, alone, silent, but there's no sadness there anymore. Just focus, just power. The Tommy Egan who once wanted peace is gone forever. What's left is something worse, something colder, smarter, unstoppable. The death of Kate didn't end him. It unleashed the real him. Because when grief burns away everything human inside you, all that's left is instinct. And instinct doesn't forgive. It conquers.